release. I have had so many questions about Brit School's auditions, Brit School's applications. It's been 2 years now since I did my own application and my own audition. And since I did a video last year on tips on auditions and applications, I thought that I would do a part 2, considering I've got a lot of new questions that I guess I didn't answer properly. So here is my part 2, my Brit School Q&A answering your questions. Number 1 is, can you play your own instruments to accompany yourself in your audition? Of course you can. You're just showing them that you can do more than just sing or whatever you're accompanying yourself with. In my audition, I sung and I played the piano, and apparently that was something that really stood out to them. The fact that you can play an instrument to accompany yourself is really a talent that they look for, and something that people just really want to see in a musician anyway. Although do not worry if you cannot accompany yourself with an instrument, it's not the be-all end-all of performing. Number 2 is song recommendations and what not to sing. So a big no-no for auditions is that they do not want you singing an ex-Brit student's work. So no Adele, no Jessie J, no Leona Lewis, Amy Winehouse. The list goes on. I would just suggest looking up a list of Brit School alumni and making sure that you don't sing a song of theirs. For some reason they have such a thing against people performing songs by ex-Brit students or writing about them in their application. That is also another big thing. In applications, they say do not write about a Brit School student's work in any means. I'm not sure what the problem with it is. I would just suggest avoiding it completely. As for song recommendations, I would say just whatever you feel is right for you. They really want to see the kind of musician that you are and what you want to become. So you do music that expresses who you are and music that you are good at. Because if you do that, there's no stopping you. You can smash it absolutely fine, just performing what you want, what you're comfortable with, and who you want to be as a musician. Number 3 is, can you do an academic course with the strand you take? Yes, you can. I would suggest doing it at the beginning of year 12. You can do what they call a pathway. You can do English Lit, you can do makeup, you can do theatre. You can actually do a lot of courses on the side. They choose not to recommend it because you do have a lot of work already in your strand, so it's just putting on extra work onto time that you will already have taken up. But the choice is always there for people who want to take an extra course. I really wish I'd taken English literature because that would have given me another choice to do when it comes to uni next year, but it's completely optional. Number 4 is, what is the audition like? Now, I'm not going to lie to you, so many people think, oh, it's Brit School, it's like everyone's going to be so strict, everyone's going to be so like in your face. It's really just chill. It's really not that big of a deal. I went in not nervous, I just talked to them like I knew them forever. I just acted like I was comfortable, like I was confident, and I think that's also something they really look for in someone, there we go. It's just how comfortable you can be around people, considering in this business you're going to have to do a lot of networking, you're going to have to talk to a lot of people, and obviously you're going to have to perform in front of a lot of people, so they're looking for someone who is confident in themselves. The audition is super chill. You just wait in the canteen or the cafeteria, whatever it's called, and they usually call you by name at the door. You walk through, and then there's a hallway with, let me count now, 1, 2, 3, 4 practice rooms. It's like a little side there, and you're usually taken into one of those. You'll have one of the teachers. The teachers, super nice, super chill. They're all really cool. Like, they're musicians themselves, so they know what it's like to perform in front of someone, to be a bit nervous. So they're completely on your side already. So what you then do is, you usually, depending what order you want to do it in, they do ask, you have an interview section where you talk about yourself. You can play some demos of stuff that you've done. Again, optional. You just talk to them about what kind of music you do, what kind of music you want to do, what kind of artist you want to be, how far away you live was a question that I had to answer. Don't know why that was a question, but they will just generally ask you so that they can get an idea of who you are and whether you're a right fit and whether they think you're dedicated enough to be a part of the Brit School. So then they say to you, do you want to do your audition now or do you want to do your oral test? I chose to do my oral test first. So the teacher sits at a piano, and this usually It helps if you have a bit of theory behind you. So what they did, they played chords. They were like, is this augmented? Is this minor? Is this diminished? Is this major? I got all of them right apart from one, which still annoys me to this day. I don't know whether this applies to other instruments because I auditioned as a singer, but what they did for me, they played a short melody, asked me to sing it back, which was fine, it was easy. But that part of the test, the oral test, super easy, super chill, it's fine. Next is the actual audition. So this, once again, is super chill. It's really not that nerve-wracking. You will just sit down at the piano or stand at the microphone or get your instrument or whatever, and they will just say to you whenever you're ready, and you just play whatever you're doing. So once you're done with that, they're like, thank you, you're good to go, and then you go. So that's the audition process, and then after that you just wait for the letter. So number 5 is tips for getting through the application process. The application process actually scared me more than the audition itself because it's so unsure on whether or not you will actually get it, whether you'll get it right, what they're actually looking for. So the application, you put in personal details, all of this, but there are essays. I don't know whether it's the same questions every year, but the question on my one was, what do you think had a major impact on the musical world? I don't remember the actual question, they're really looking for something that is in detail, they can tell that you've actually thought about it, spent time on it, and they just want something that really shows that you know what you're talking about. You're not just going, oh, well, I think I'll go to music school, not knowing anything. They really just want to know that you can talk the same language as they do, and you're really just showing a passion for what you're talking about, what you want to do. So number 6 is how to stand out in applications, at the auditions. Now, I'm not really a blend-in person. I have always been a person who likes to be, I don't want to say it in a way that sounds diva-ish, but I like being the center of attention. Oh, that sounds so bad. But on my audition day, people turned up in jeans and trainers and just like plain t-shirts. I fully turned up in a bright pink bomber jacket, a check skirt, heeled boots, like the tights, the hair, the glasses, the earrings, the jewelry, the full thing. Because if they don't know, if they don't remember your name, they'll remember you as the pink girl in the boots. They will remember you by anything that you make an impression on them with. It's a really good idea to really dress to impress, but I would say a tip for standing out in the application is try and choose a subject that no one's actually talked about. Because if they're looking through the same essay 50 million times and then they come across one that's different, they're going to be, first off, they're going to be like, thank you for giving me something different. But they're also going to remember that because it's completely different from everything else they've seen, so that will stick in their minds. And once again, if it sticks in their minds and they have you in their brain, then that's usually a good sign. Number 7 is how to prepare for the music audition in advance. I would say, okay, this has a few different subjects. I did a couple of different things to make sure that I had the best chance at getting in myself. So the first thing that I did was as much as I hated it, started music theory lessons. Now this isn't a big thing for Brits because you do music theory anyway. I've been playing the piano since I was 6, so I had a pretty good understanding of a piano and how that worked and the notes and all of that. But if you're not and you are, because they usually ask you about piano notation and stuff like that, and I would suggest starting theory lessons. I would also suggest choosing your song really early on. It was not a good idea what I did. I am a very, I don't want to say lazy person. I procrastinate a lot, so I left my song choice to the last minute and I gave myself about 2 weeks to nail it when I didn't actually know the piano music that well. But with the help of my singing teacher, who's also a pianist, and just practicing, I had it down by the time I got there. So I would really suggest choosing your song early on, making sure that you have it perfected and that you can't make any mistake in the audition. Because if you smash it and you do every other part of your audition super well, they have no reason not to let you in. I would also suggest thinking about yourself and the kind of musician that you want to be. They're not looking for someone who is completely clueless about the kind of music that they want to do, the kind of musician they want to be. They don't want you to be fully developed and have like a complete idea yet, but they do want you to have an idea of what kind of direction you want to go in and what kind of musician you want to be, because they will ask you questions surrounding that you will need to answer and not sit there for half an hour thinking of. Number 8, I actually got asked a lot, is when do you get the response letter? I think I got mine later than everyone else. I was on the waiting list. I actually got a call rather than a letter, because I got a letter saying I was on the waiting list, and then on my way back from another college's induction day, I got a call saying, hey, it's Brit School, do you want a spot? We've got one here right for you. I was like, yes, 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 please, cool, good, I'm done. But I think you get them around, well, the workshops are usually December to about February or March, so I think the response letters usually come around June. May or June, which is pretty soon after, but it's still like torturous considering you're sitting there every day waiting for a response and it takes weeks to get there. 9 is, how does the waiting list work? Now, it usually comes down to whether or not someone wants to actually keep their space at Brit School, because the waiting list is entirely reliant on whether or not someone else gives up their space. I'm guessing I must have been at the top of the waiting list because I got a call within a few weeks of the response letters coming out, and that doesn't happen unless you're like top priority on the list, because I think it goes, if someone gives up their spot, then it's whoever's on top of the waiting list that gets the call. Number 10 is, can you apply if you live abroad? That is, I didn't know you actually could, but you can. We have a girl from New York City, we have a girl from Poland, we have a guy from Jamaica, we have people from like all over. It's if you can get accommodation here and you are close enough to be able to get there every day without getting late every day. If you can find a place to live around London or Croydon or close to the college, then you're fine. You can apply if you're abroad. Number 11 is, what's the dress code? I wish like we had this in my last school, but from the age of year 10 at Brit, you can wear your own clothes. You don't have to wear a uniform, which was really different for me, because at my last school, of course, as per the usual secondary school codes for dressing, you have to wear a uniform, and then now coming into college, seeing that year 10s and 11s wear their own clothes, it was a bit strange for me, but you know, it's a completely different environment. You get to wear your own clothes. People will just come in some like out there clothes. I love it. It's great. Everyone's so expressive. It's so cool. Number 12 is, where is the Brit School? A lot of people are actually surprised at the fact that it is in Selhurst, which is not a great area, but I actually have no idea why it's in Selhurst. Everyone always says that. They're like, why the heck is a place like Brit School in Selhurst? I have no idea. I'd never been to Selhurst before I went to Brit, but it's pretty easy to get to from Croydon Station, so I guess that was something that's a plus. Number 13 is, does Brit School have its own accommodation? A lot of people seem to think that Brit School is a boarding school. It's not. So if you are wanting to go to Brit and you live really, really far away, or you live abroad, it's probably best to look for accommodation around that area, because Brit School is not a boarding school. It doesn't have its own like student housing. So if you're really wanting to go to Brit and you've got your place, then you really need to start looking at accommodation, probably actually before you apply, so that you know that you can go if you get a place. Number 14 surprises everyone as well, and number 14 is the Brit School free to go to? The Brit School actually apparently prides itself on being one of the only free performing arts schools in England. They do ask for donations, and they do get a lot of donations from famous artists, from famous musicians, just from very high up figures who have a lot of money to donate to Brit. Some people are like Simon Cowell, Paul McCartney, and just a lot of other people who are willing to donate to the Brit School to basically help the development of the next generation of musicians. So no worrying about £20,000 a year fees, as the Brit School is free. The only thing you have to pay for is your own equipment, your school supplies, lockers, and food. That's about it. So So that was my part 2 on the Brit School, my Q&A, answering your questions. If you have any more questions that I haven't answered or haven't thought of, leave them down in the comments below and I will try my best to answer them either in the comments below, or if I get enough, I'll make another video. If you like this video, do not forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will be uploading every Tuesday from now on. I will try my best to stick to that along with school and work, but it will be every Tuesday. And actually in the autumn time, I think I'm going to be uploading 2 times a week. If you're looking about the Brit School or wanting to find out what it's like, I will be uploading a Brit School vlog at some point, kind of like a follow me around college thing. So keep an eye out for that in the near future. But yeah, that was my video for this week. I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye!